All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to one of our Healing Touch Chiropractic workshops. I am Dr. Lauren, and today I am going to be discussing easier, simple ways to feed your little ones. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to be talking through today some breakfast, some lunch, some dinner, some snack options that I have found to be better quality, healthier versions, and really just ways to be better prepared for when dinner comes and it's a quick grab and go. We don't want to be grabbing boxed foods like Kraft mac and cheese, Hamburger Helper, pizzas that are frozen all the time. I mean, even chicken nuggets. It's usually a pretty typical go-to, or hot dogs. These are some different options that are better quality to just have on hand to help you be successful in doing dinner for you and your family. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start with some of my grocery, always on my list staples, and the best way that I essentially make sure that that happens. Everyone's different, but this is what's working for me currently. So the very first thing that I always get every time I go to the grocery store is ground beef. Always look for grass-fed ground beef. Always look for grass-fed beef in general. We also get steaks all the time just to have as another protein. This one is versatile for both breakfast, lunch, dinner, any time of day. It's great. Chicken, always look for pasture-raised chicken. Just a better quality, overall healthier option for chicken. Eggs. Eggs go really fast in our house. So eggs are always on my list. Fresh and or frozen fruits, depending on how you use fruits, fresh or frozen, just do your best to try to get organic in all of it. We don't need any of those pesticides, or if you have some really great ways to wash, make sure that you always wash your vegetables and fruits to get off all of the crop things. We don't need any of those on our fruits. But what I have found to be working in my household right now is to be rotating fruits. So I typically only want to buy about 2 fruits when I'm at the store. So we typically in our house rotate between bananas, apples, strawberries, and grapes. Those are just the fan favorites in our house. You can also add in mangoes, blueberries, raspberries, really any kind of fruits. I actually currently just overbought grapes and I put them in the freezer. And same with, I bought a pack of Costco strawberries. Don't typically buy a pack at Costco, so I have a lot of strawberries, which I've also frozen so that they don't go to waste. So that's another tip that I've actually never done before, and I am trying to follow my own tips and tricks here. Same thing goes with vegetables. I typically buy frozen vegetables because our kids don't always eat vegetables, and I don't want them to go to waste, or I don't want to eat an entire zucchini all by myself. So we mostly buy frozen veggies, unless I know exactly what I want to make, like tacos, then we would get fresh tomatoes and fresh peppers or stir fry things. But again, make sure that you're buying organic when you can, if you can. Always on my list, every time I go to the grocery store, is grass-fed butter. I mostly shop at Aldi, so I buy the Irish Pure butter. It says made from cows that are grass-fed. Made with cow's milk that are grass-fed cows. So high quality butter. Breakfast meats are also something that I rotate through, just depending on, I usually go to the grocery store about once a week. So one week I'll get ham, one week I'll get bacon, one week I'll get sausage, and those are really the only breakfast meats that we rotate through. Ham is the most versatile because I can use it at lunch, I can use it at dinner, and we can use it at breakfast. I don't typically do that with sausage and bacon. I'm sure it can be done. I just don't. And then snacks. So since I'm talking about my grocery snacks staples, I'm going to just pop right in to starting off with snacks, as ideas. So our favorite snack right now is Yogis. They are a probiotic yogurt covered fruit ball, essentially. Minimal ingredients, and my kids love them. They are one of our top snacks right now. I get them at Costco because they come in a bigger bag, but I have also seen them at Walmart in like a smaller box. Cashwise may also have them, or Hornbachers. I haven't specifically looked at those stores for them. Another thing that we've actually added to our snack list is Chomp's beef sticks. So I found these, it's a small, they're maybe this big of a beef stick, so they're perfect for my 2 and 5-year-old. At Aldi, I had seen that Costco also used to have them, but I didn't see them this time I was last there. They have a brand called Archer, which is also a pretty good brand. So those are something that we've added into our snack rotation. Also, Simple Mills crackers. They have just cheese crackers. I picked up the garlic crackers just to kind of use for little DIY Lunchable ideas for lunches. We also have dye-free fruit snacks that I have found at Aldi that are one of our rotated snacks. We don't buy them all the time, but we do have some for when they want fruit snacks. A better option than most of the fruit snacks out there, actually. And then apple donuts are some of our more fun weekend type snacks. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you essentially core the apple and then you slice it in a way that you keep the ring of the apple, which is where the donut part comes in, but you can truly slice them however you want to. You spread peanut butter on it, do some chocolate chips. You could add some sprinkled coconut if you like coconut, sea salt. Delicious. And it tastes like a candy bar, but it's an apple with nut butter and some chocolate and flaky sea salt. Delicious. And some of the other snacks that I found at Costco are chips that I'm specifically looking for that are made with avocado oil, not seed oils. So Lay's is full of seed oils, so they're not a great healthy chip. So there is a brand called Jackson's. There are Jackson's sweet potato chips, and the Boulder chips are also made with avocado oil, which is a much better option. And the Boulder one at Costco has a big box full of maybe 30 bags of individual snack-sized chips. That would be great to throw in for lunch boxes for school. So those are kind of our grocery staples currently. Once in a while, I buy avocados. Once in a while, I'll buy salmon. I'm still trying to learn how to eat salmon in a way that I find enjoyable, but I will get into that when I get into lunch and dinner. So let's start with breakfast. A lot of times, at least for me growing up, it was Pop-Tarts, frozen waffles, cereal, and I am really trying to not do that on a weekly basis with my kids. Kids these days are very prone to way too much sugar just with the standard American diet right now. And on the weekends, we can see when we maybe do give them some different options for a cereal that isn't Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms or whatever else is out there. We just see that sugar high really changes their behaviors. And I just cannot send them to school or daycare like that. I feel awful doing that. So I have come up with some different breakfast ideas that are somewhat quick, but can be prepared ahead of time if they're not that quick. So the first and one of the easiest ones is fruit. If you already have bananas, if you already have apples that you just bought, boom. You can spice it up with sea salt, peanut butter, whatever it is. One of my things that my kid had asked for a couple weeks ago was a banana roll-up. So we were like, honey, what is a banana roll-up? Because, we could have interpreted it however we wanted to. But he tells us that we take a tortilla, we put peanut butter on it, we put the banana in it, and roll it up. And I was like, well, That seems easy enough. And unless he really wants to eat the whole thing, which he hasn't yet, we just slice it in half and split it between both kids. Protein and fruit. Great. Let's see. Greek yogurt and fruit. Also super simple. I remember trying to be better in college, and I thought Yoplait yogurt was the way to go. And now I know that it's not. It's not a good option. Really, all you need is Greek yogurt, vanilla flavored, add some honey, add some granola, add some vanilla if you want, and fruit. Boom. Easy peasy. Better type of cereal like breakfast. Another thing that I'm experimenting with right now are overnight oats. I've really only done a strawberry cream type of one, but it's just however many rolled up oats you want. So, not instant oats, rolled oats. I put in enough milk to cover the oats, some vanilla powder, or you can do vanilla extract. And then I actually bought a strawberry flavored maple syrup just to add to it. Slice up some strawberries, and boom, it's in there. A lot of what I'm doing currently, I actually have people that I follow on Instagram that walk me through different recipes, and I'm just kind of picking and choosing what works with us right now in our family and in our lifestyle. And that's a great place to start. If this is not your starting point, this is just an overview of a real life mom, busy professional working woman trying to be better. That's what I'm trying to help with here. So if you're looking for specific recipes, online is very helpful. Cottage cheese into scrambled eggs is also a great boost of protein and makes the eggs creamier. My husband, however, does not like creamy eggs. So that's where we do half without the cottage cheese and we add the cottage cheese into the other half for me and the kids. But hey, it works. And avocados are a great staple to that as well. Or avocados on sourdough bread with butter. I actually mix my avocado mixture for avocado toast with cream cheese just to spice it up a little bit. Yep. And then one of the things that you can do ahead of time, so like on the weekends, if I make a whole thing of breakfast sausage or I have a whole bunch of ham or bacon, saving that, wrapping up a little bit of extra eggs, cheese, whatever else you throw into your burritos, some peppers, saving that mixture of scrambled eggs and stuff, putting it in the freezer and saving it as a breakfast bowl for later throughout the week, or throwing it into a tortilla later down the week. Super simple. The whole purpose of being able to be healthy is being prepared. So if Saturdays are the only days that you have to really have the time to cook up bacon or sausage or cut up a whole bunch of ham, do it and make that the whole plan for the week, just to have it all prepared and ready. Meal planning, meal prepping. All right, I am not quite in the life phase of school lunches, but I will be come next fall. So I'm doing my best to learn how to be better prepared before I need to be prepared. So I have done some research on simple things that my kids actually might eat for lunch. First and foremost, the most common thing that I saw was meat and cheese roll-ups. So a nice organic brand of turkey or ham sandwich meat, some organic grass-fed cheese, roll it up in a tortilla. You can even cut it up like sushi is what someone said to make it look a little more fun for the kids. You could even do cream cheese or cottage cheese instead of just cheddar, Swiss, pepper jack, whatever it is, with additional sides of fruit, veggies, and a quick little snack. Sounds super easy. One of the ones that I'm most excited about is meatballs with a side of dipping sauce. My kids love meatballs. Some days I can possibly make meatballs myself, but if they are frozen and I've pre-cooked them, that happens and that's realistic. Again, with just a side of fruit or a vegetable or whatever it may be. Easy peasy. There's also do-it-yourself pizza Lunchables, where you take a slice of naan or a small tortilla and give them a side of marinara sauce they can spread on themselves. Again, some cheese, some pepperoni, some sausage, whatever they want on their pizza. But one of the things that is most important if there's pepperoni involved is to make sure that there are no nitrites. No good. We don't want those in the pepperoni. So look for a little bit better brand of pepperoni if you're going with that one. Also, you could just do a do-it-yourself Lunchables box. Bento boxes are a huge thing right now. So just putting in some crackers. Like I mentioned, I bought some Simple Meals to try this out. Cheese, meat, fruits, veggies, snacks. Boom. Great lunch, and the kids hopefully will find it fun. One thing that I found that was really interesting, because I'd never thought of it. So I'm into the Goodles mac and cheese right now. So you make it, you cook it like you would. And then since we're not eating it at the moment, I'm making this ahead of time. You put it into a muffin tin with the paper liner. And then I don't know, I add peas. I love peas in my mac and cheese. And hopefully the kids will just deal with it. So you put them in the muffin tins and then you actually freeze them so that when you need them that morning, you can reheat them, put them in a thermos type of lunchbox so they stay warm-ish, but they're able to cool off throughout the morning before they need them at lunch. Boom. Mac and cheese balls. Crazy. Never would have thought of that. So those are just some of the things that I thought my kids would enjoy at lunch when the time comes. Please share in the comments if there are any other school lunches that you have found that you love to make as the mom and that your kids actually eat. Please share them below for all the parents watching this. We are all in this together. All right, then comes what I feel is the dreaded dinner time. That is the most asked question in our house. Whether it's from me to my husband or vice versa, or my kids asking me what's for dinner, I don't know. So dinner is mostly where I've been focusing all of this to try to keep things exciting for our family, but still using the things that I buy every week just naturally at the grocery store. So the most versatile thing that we use is the ground beef. We do tacos, we do sloppy joes, we do sometimes our homemade burgers and spaghetti. Whether we want to make the meatballs ourselves or just throw in the crumbled ground beef into the sauce or the noodles, wherever. So simple. I just named off at least 4 different meals. And then for tacos even, you could do taco salads or you could do taco wraps or crispy shells, whatever it is that you want. Like you could do the same thing but differently and with different toppings. Sometimes we use peppers, sometimes we use onions and tomatoes, and sometimes we just use meat and cheese, depending on if we have any fresh toppings. Sometimes we don't. With the chicken, one of my favorite things to do, I don't know if my husband would agree, but I make homemade chicken nuggets. So I take up the chicken, I cut it into smaller pieces, and then roll it in egg, roll it in breadcrumbs, and garlic, salt, and Parmesan is what I put in mine for the topping. And that's also something that you could do. You could make a whole ton of them, make some extra, freeze them up, and then recook them later. Or send them with your kids to school for lunch, maybe. Might be cold at that point, but they're already cooked. I don't know about that one. I haven't tested that one yet. I also love pesto. So with some of these leftover chicken tenders that I call them, the chicken pesto paninis, so good. Also, my kids eat it even though it's covered in green, which is fantastic. But I do not make homemade pesto, something that I also get at Aldi every once in a while. Chicken, some Swiss cheese, pesto, squish it in your little, what are they called? They're the little panini presses. There's a name for the one that we have, but I don't remember his name. So that's something that we do with chicken that's not just chicken breast and veggies on the side. We also often do chicken stir fry. So at this point, I usually just buy frozen stir fry veggies. And sometimes if we have leftover peppers, I will throw them in. And then teriyaki sauce, bourbon chicken without the bourbon is a recipe that I often follow with that too. Super saucy, super delicious. We usually serve it over rice. So all of these can be used the same way but different, which is really awesome. So whether or not you've done this before, so I have this whole little cheat sheet that I've written things on to make sure that I touch on everything. And I will take a picture of this and I'll post it in the comments so that you kind of have a starting base. But I want you guys, if you don't already, to get, whether it's an app or a piece of paper like I have. I actually also have an app that I track my grocery shopping list on. But I want you guys to write down what staples you already do buy every time you go to the grocery store, or ones that you want to buy. Take a picture of it, because we most often always have our phones on us, so you can always reference it. And then once you start to grow your food options for breakfast, lunch, dinner, this is where I'm really excited. I have a whole list, right? I've written a whole bunch of things down. Once we start to experiment a little bit more with some other things, there are people that have like popsicle sticks where they've written all these meals on it, and they pick, 4 or 5, however many you need for the week that you eat at home. And that's what you do. Then it's kind of always an option, because these are the ones that you're used to eating all the time. You pick it, you make sure that you go grocery shopping for what you need, call it good. I am so excited to start doing that. So like what this says, I don't know if you can see it. So I have breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, and then the grocery staples here on this list. So if that helps you get started, I mean, I've seen some people with legit binders trying to meal plan. So this is just what's working for me currently. I have a digital app that's actually linked to a calendar that I have in my kitchen. It's the Skylight calendar. It's actually quite popular nowadays, which is how I fell into it. But while I'm in the kitchen, I can add groceries to the big screen that we have there. And then when I'm at the grocery store, I have the exact same list on my phone, and so does my husband. So whoever one of us is going grocery shopping, they see what we need. And then, of course, we buy a few other things. But actually, I'm going to show you this. So on my list, I actually have it broken down into which store. So like I said, I typically shop at Aldi. I even have my Amazon lists on here. And then Costco, Target, Walmart, and all other items is what that bottom one says. But what's really nice about this specifically, which is working for me, the light is not working. But so everything that I've already checked off is already here. So this top one here says brown sugar, chocolate chips. I don't know what that says backwards. But when I unclick it, they actually just go to the top and I can do it all over again, which is really awesome. So that's how I kind of keep track of my grocery staples. If you're looking for an easier way to do it, I highly suggest that. Or there's probably different apps that work too. Or like I said, just take a picture of your written list and always have it on you. So the main thing that you want to focus on with kids, especially for breakfasts and lunches, that was really what prompted me to want to do this, is protein. Focus on protein. It doesn't need to be hard, and it doesn't always need to be cereal or toast in the mornings or whatever is an easy breakfast. Hopefully this gave you some great ideas that you can run with, try in your own home, and I'm really excited to see if this was more of the focus for breakfasts, how our kids would be different throughout the day. If there are kids that are just always, always not behaving or not sitting still or not listening, it very well may be because they're full of sugar first thing in the morning, possibly all the way through lunch, and then who knows what happens at dinner, and then they maybe struggle to go to sleep. So the diet is really a great place to start with getting some kids' behavior changes. So thank you all so much. Like I said, I will post this in the comments. You guys have a great starting place, and I would highly suggest that you guys do it yourself. Okay, thanks so much for watching. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye.